currently struggling to get through the books. What about the audiobooks? I listen while I'm out walking or working in the garden. Audiobooks all day. I've read them all multiple times, but I love the audiobooks now, and they're narrated by Andy Serkis, so the Gollum bits are a treat. Your interest in a given subject should buoy you along. I don't know your age, but there is no question younger generations do not read as well or as sufficiently. I have two Gen Z kids, both smart but terrible at in-depth reading. Not enough reward/return for the effort, I guess. You sound bored more than anything. The joy is in the details. ABD rereading. Speed should never factor in. Some books are paced faster than others, and LOR is a medium-paced book or story. Thank you everyone for the words of wisdom/encouragement. We'll definitely be going back into it with a new outlook. I felt the same frustration when I first tried reading them in my teens. I picked them up again in my 20s and decided I would read them while floating on a raft in the pool. I read slowly and absorbed slowly, but being physically relaxed and happy floating in the sun helped me immerse myself in the writing style and the story. It's okay to take it in at your own pace. Kindle works great for the word search function. Helps you buff up your vocab pretty quickly actually. All you do is click on the word and it brings up the definition. When I first got into reading, I had to rewire my brain. I didn't realize how addicted to my phone and constant flashing I was. When you first start, try to embrace the slowness. It's not a race. I went from being able to only read about a 10 to 15 page chapter a day to reading around 60 on weekdays and 100 on weekends. Trust me, it gets easier. It's not about your intelligence. This is going to be downvoted heavily, but there's a reason the Barrow Downs, Old Forest, and Tom Bombadil weren't included in the films. Try and grind through those parts and then continue on. If you retain nothing, it means nothing, except Mary's blade being from there. I struggled on my first read through of both The Hobbit and The Watchers. I made it work by just powering through. I think for Americans at least that it's the difference in the grammar and word choice plus the change in the English language by the time I was reading them. But after that first read, it was much easier to read them a second time than a third time, and even now probably at least a 10th time. My advice to anyone asking me is that it takes commitment, but it's so worth the time. Audiobooks are fantastic, but try to listen to them while reading the books. It'll keep you focused more because you're using your eyes and ears, so fewer external distractions, but it will also help you with pronunciation and reading speed. Good luck, I hope you stick it out. I'm also not the sharpest tool, and I also read slowly. Reading slowly isn't bad. Take your time and enjoy the journey. That said, yeah, this part of the books is tough on the first go-around. It's more fun if you've already finished the books once. As others have said, the pace picks up a lot after the Council of Elrond, and it gets a lot more engaging. Do not worry once you get out of the Barrow Downs. It picks up the pace. Depending on the mood, I am sometimes skipping this part. It is tangential, but reading through the Old Forest once will fill your context enough. I've reached Lothlorien in my first real read through of Lord of the Rings. Really been enjoying it. The Barrow Downs and the bit between Farmer Maggot and Tom Bombadil were a bit of a slog, but I pushed through them to the good stuff beyond. The journey from Hobbiton to the Barrow Downs is one of the most complained about stretches in the books by others, so you are not alone. Just know that once you get past the Barrow Downs and are in Bree, it just begin to pick up, and after you have made it to Rivendell and the quest begins, it's not as slow going. I'll give the advice I applied when reading the books as a child many years ago. Do not stop reading when you hit something you don't understand or it's boring. Just skip right over it. You will understand enough to enjoy the books, and you learn new things without noticing. So the next tough thing you read will be unconsciously easier. Then you'll go back and read Lord of the Rings again, and you'll understand even more of on the next read, and so on. Rolls along faster once they get to Bree. I found audiobook versions helped me the first time I was trying to read it. Listen to the audiobook as you read along, and read on a tablet so you can look up challenging words quickly. Tolkien's books are simply wonderful, but not the easiest to read. Maybe audiobook could help you? When I read the books, I did feel like it was slow through the fog on the Barrow Downs chapter. The story really picks up when the hobbits get to Bree. I struggled too. You're not the only one. I read the Silmarillion first, so I had background lore that I could connect with the story. My will to say I read the books was enough drive for me to read through all of them slowly. Another thing that helped was to read all of the poems/songs as Irish jigs. Don't try to memorize and remember every single detail and name and whatnot. Those details will emerge more fluently in rereads. LOL, then maybe they're not your thing. Just keep reading. Middle-earth is not for everyone, alas. I read concerning hobbits and did not surface for 3 days. My spouse is 5 times the reader and cannot see the point. Damned shame.